Hola muchachos, LifeAHolic mom here, and today we're going to go visit with Rachel. She is a healer, and she does plant-based medicine. So she has a huge botanical garden here in Puerto Viejo, Costa Rica. And when I was really sick, when I first arrived in Puerto Viejo, and I wasn't actually sure what was wrong with me, I was swollen, I just wasn't doing so well. She was like my first point of contact, and actually the person who helped me get through the first year of being in Puerto Viejo and helped me with the pain, helped me different plants and roots that could help with the inflammation and the swelling. She did like all these massages and different way. Long story short, she is like the woman, in my opinion, in terms of her knowledge of plants and healing plants and things that can heal the body naturally. So we're gonna have a quick conversation like we do. She's from New York, living here in Puerto Viejo, Costa Rica. So let's see what she has to say about it all. Let's see what she has to say about it all. Ciao. Hola muchachos, LifeAHolic mom here, and today we are with Rachel. Hello, Miss Rachel.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
And we're in her beautiful garden here in Puerto Viejo, Costa Rica. So we're going to do what we do, which is chat with an expat. She's been here for quite some time, so I don't even know if she still considers herself an expat or not. However, we're gonna have a quick conversation with her about her experience living here, what she does, how she does it, so that you guys can get a better understanding of what life is like here for Rachel. All right, so welcome.
Thank you.
All right, my dear. So our very first question is, what brought you to Costa Rica? Why are you here? Why are you here?
Well, I came from Brooklyn, New York. I was working as a social worker, and I was excited to get away from the system I felt very frustrated by. And I came to visit Costa Rica on vacation. I was very attracted to the communal lifestyle, the very friendly kind of culture, and of course the nature.
Right, nature.
And so I decided to give it a try, living in the rainforest. And that was about 22 years ago. I'm still here. I've moved around, but have chosen Puerto Viejo as my final destination in Costa Rica. Really chose Puerto Viejo in the end because it's such a multicultural place.
Very cool. So what is your favorite thing, the single most favorite thing about living here in Puerto Viejo?
So it would definitely be the people. The Rasta mentality that's here was one of the original things that drew me into the culture, and the way that people, not everyone here is Rastafarian,
right,
but it's obviously a culture that
it's
has had a
part.
large.
It's a huge part of the culture.
Yeah, there's a great impact. So concepts that I associate with Rastafarianism, like peace, unity, standing up for the rights of others, communal sharing. This is a place, when I first got here, there was a lot of sharing.
Yeah.
And coming from a place with so much abundance, like New York City,
right,
where it's normal for people to be around others who are starving and have tons of food. And that's just normal for us. And here, You know, I have friends who grew up where things were so communal that it was sharing all the time. No one went hungry.
Right.
So if you fished, but all you had was fish, you would trade it with whoever had bananas. Or what I hear from my friends about previous generations and times that they still remember, it's like nothing that I could imagine taking place in New York.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It doesn't exist
that.
in Los Angeles. Same. Or the United States, because that's not a part of our upbringing. Like, that's not even, it's a capitalistic society that says get as much as you can, and wherever you got to step on along the way, do it.
Right.
So of course the communal sharing, you know, each one teach one, village to raise a child mentality is not there because it doesn't exist. It's not part of the fabric of what the United States is. So,
Right.
Pretty awesome. All right, and so I have to ask, what is your least favorite thing about living here? If you could change one thing about living here, what would it be?
Well, we could use some better infrastructure. Both of my parents are city planners. So it's hard for me to see that we don't have a bike lane, okay? For all of those watching who are in power, we need a bike lane. It's hard to see pedestrians competing with
cars,
cars, trucks, parents with 3 kids on a bicycle, just trying to get them to school. A lot of that kind of infrastructure is very corporate based and is not so much geared towards the human population. Coming from New York, we have a lot more social services available.
Yes.
And here, the social services that are available are different. But as a social worker, I do see that we could use more help for the young people.
Yes.
I know a lot of people after 20 years, now they're young adults. I've known them since they were kids. I see the opportunities that they have to move forward, and the community hasn't really provided opportunities for them. So some kids have done great, but it's really a question of opportunities.
Yeah.
And as the tourism industry has grown, those kind of opportunities for members of the community have not always been available. And so sometimes you see people like myself coming in from another country with money that's from another country. It's much easier for me to start a tourism project and to use my privilege to reach my goals. And there are some great programs here, but there are definitely people who are not getting access to the opportunities. They're falling between the cracks. And I know some really intelligent young people,
as do I,
who are
amazing.
Really not getting the chance that I would like to see them get.
Very good. So basically increased awareness of some things that we could do socially as a community, but from the level of like the government. Is that what you're saying?
Or from all levels. Community. Maybe it's all levels, you know. So everybody kind of finding a way to do their part, you know, hire someone that needs a job. Got it. Find ways to mentor. But yeah, it would be great if the government was able to do more to
step in,
protect the local people from the kind of risks that we have, whether they're mental health risks or physical health risks.
Absolutely.
Like we recently lost someone on a bicycle who was an important member of the community, and so that's what we need, is a little bit more organization around those topics.
Thank you, Rachel. She has got her finger on the pulse.
I've thought about this a few times. Let me just share.
All right, so next question is, so you were saying you were a social worker there in New York, in the States. What do you do now to sustain yourself?
Well, I have this beautiful garden and this eco lodge, and so people come and stay here. They visit the garden to understand more about what the rainforest has to offer us. My passion is understanding the power of plants and the tradition around plants, the stories, talking to people, collecting information, collecting cultural pieces of knowledge, and trying to preserve the information and share it with future generations.
Oh, I like that. Well, she's downplaying it, folks. But like I was telling, when I was really sick, Rachel was the person that I came to help heal me using plants. And at the time, I was new to Costa Rica, number one, but I was new to the whole concept of plant-based medicine. And so Rachel was able to, over a course of about, I want to say maybe like 6 months to a year, basically got me stabilized, because I was in a lot of pain. I was swollen. I wasn't doing good mentally because I was so depressed about whatever was going on with my body. I couldn't take care of my kids. So Rachel was actually the person who was my spiritual counselor, my physical, in terms of like the massages that she did to kind of release the toxins in my body, counselor, and then also knowledge base in teaching me about the various plants that I was going to use to help me heal myself, which I did use and I still use to this day to keep my condition at bay. So she did a great job of kind of explaining, but I just want to say she does so much more than what she explained for the community, because knowledge is power, right? So she has taught me, and I'm sure many other people about the plants and the healing power of plants, which now I can teach to my kids, which I do teach to my kids. So she's creating this generational knowledge base about plants and how to heal yourself using them.
Thank you very much.
I think that's better. Well said. So I just want to put that out there, that she's much more than an Airbnb in an eco jungle environment.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, so with that, have you experienced any form of racism? You.
I have
Here
witnessed
in Costa Rica.
racism here in
right.
Costa Rica. I am not somebody who really would use that term. I don't in reverse racism.
Okay, reverse.
You know,
yeah.
I'm not a big believer in reverse racism because of the situation that we see, at least, you know, in this side of the world.
Like, is it possible? I don't know if it's possible. Is it possible?
You know, the experiences that I have had with local people here, where I have been treated a certain way due to my color, I can't really call that racism. That's
Because
really
they're
just a
coming
product of some
from where their
really,
experiences were.
really
negatively.
negative experiences. And coming here with my privilege, like I said, there is no way that I can expect to not have a certain amount of resentment towards me as a representation of the system that I have come out of and have profited from. And especially hanging out with Rastas, I early on in my time here was made aware of my privilege in a way that I had not been made aware of, even having an Africana degree from Brown University.
Ouch.
But I saw my own self in a different way. And, you know, people who grew up here, whose ancestors came to this place to escape the conditions that were brought about by the system that I am a product of, they have a right to protect this land and their children and their culture in a way that they see foreigners, and sometimes not only foreigners who are white people, but all foreigners.
All foreigners.
I'm sure you even could have your own experiences.
I do.
And, you know, but having been here such a long time, I see the changes that they've witnessed. I know their children and their grandchildren are at risk because of this influx of tourism. You know, it's not like, oh, we're outsiders bringing in all this money and the local people are benefiting from us.
Yeah.
Some have managed to benefit from tourism in an incredible way. And some of them are in jail because the only thing they could figure out how to do to be part of it was to sell drugs. And I have friends who are selling drugs from the time they were little children, and now they're in jail. And those kind of situations make it very difficult for me to sit in a position of judgment.
Absolutely.
I grew up in a Caribbean neighborhood, and people treated each other with respect. Even people who were of different backgrounds. I didn't realize how lucky I was at that time. But when I came to Costa Rica, I did witness very blatant racism between different shades of Costa Rican people. And I had learned about that in school.
Yeah, colorism.
But then colorism. But here, I mean, I see it in a way, like feeling it, watching my friends go through it, you know.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In the U.S. too. In the U.S. too. More in the U.S. than I've experienced personally here. So absolutely. All right. Wow, Rachel. Thank you. Thank you. Because now, like, the whole reason for these interviews, obviously, is so that I'm trying to get as many people enlightened as possible to another way of living. So I'm just trying to let people know different perspectives on how everybody is doing here. But there's just definitely a better way of life. But whenever things are good, there's obviously, you know, some bad things as well. So I try to make sure that all of it is told, not just, oh, we live in a beautiful tropical paradise. There are some negative aspects that go along with that, and you have to be willing to either go with the flow, or, you know, maybe this is not option for you if you decide to expatriate from your country. Well, my dear, that is it. Really, that's a wrap, sister. Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate it. Ciao, guys. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share.